Welcome back to a Telltale Books video. I'm going to continue in this video with my Jules Verne series, reading everything I can get my hands on by Jules Verne, and I've been pretty successful so far. I'm at his number 3 story called Master Zacharias or Zacharias, not sure which is the way to pronounce it. It's also got an alternate title of The Watch's Soul. This was published in, I'm murdering this because it's French, Musée des Familles in April 1854. Should I try the original French title? Maître Zacharius ou l'horloger qui avait perdu son âme. Okay. For those of you who actually speak French, sorry. For the rest of you, have a good time laughing at my really, really bad attempt at saying that title. But this was published in April of 1854. It's a novelette. And I have this, it's been collected in a lot of different editions and anthologies. It's in the Big Book of Classic Fantasy, edited by Jeff and Ann Vandermeer, and I have that book, but what I have with me in the book where I read it is this old, it's from the early 1980s, Works of Jules Verne, which was kind of a budget book that was sold through, it was either Walden Books or B. Dalton. I think it was Walden Books. Anyway, I bought this because I didn't have any Jules Verne, and this had a lot of his greats: 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Journey to the Center of the Earth, Round the World in 80 Days, From the Earth to the Moon, and Round the Moon, and selected short stories. And I thought, that sounds really great. You know, some of his biggest novels and then some short stories. I never even knew he wrote short stories, so I bought this book. He didn't write a huge number of short stories. He mostly wrote novels. They were mostly serialized in magazines. But at the very beginning, before he wrote any novels, he did write short stories, and this is the third of the short stories that Verne published. And here again, I'm going to be careful not to spoil this, because it's a really, really good, really interesting story. Not like it wasn't what I expected from a Jules Verne story. You know, I expect 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I don't expect what I got here, and I was pleasantly surprised by that. So what is Master Zacharias? Not sure. What is this story about? Master Zacharias is a watchmaker, and he is the most famous watchmaker in Geneva. I believe it was Geneva, Switzerland. This is set a while ago, like medieval times. And he's made most of the watches. Everybody came to him for watches, and even some big clocks and mantle clocks, all different kinds. And he's getting older, but all of a sudden people are coming to him saying that they're winding the watch up, but it's not running. And he looks into it, opens it up and looks at everything. Everything's fine, spring's fine, gears are all fine, everything should be working, but it's not. And he can't get it to work. There's nothing he can do to get the watch to work. And so people are getting pissed off at him and asking for their money back because this watch doesn't work. It's a piece of crap. Not really, because with each watch that does that he has made, his health declines. And he's getting, after a while of this, he's getting seriously ill. And he feels his soul is connected to the watches. And it's down to where he knows there's this one clock that's still running. And he says that has his soul. And so he sets out searching for it. And his daughter and his apprentice pursue him, trying to stop him from his foolishness. But he goes in search of it. That doesn't do the story justice, and I can't tell you more without spoiling it for you. You really need to read this one. This is an amazing story. It's a fantasy, It's not science fiction. It's pure fantasy, which is the first surprise. And the second surprise is just how deeply imaginative it is. It gets a bit religious, but that's okay. You know, if Verne wanted to believe in God, he can do that, and he can put it in his stories. There's nothing wrong with that. It's such a cool story, so much imagination, and so very powerful. I love this story. This is amazing. I haven't read Jules Verne before this, honestly. I haven't read Jules Verne before, so I'm getting into Jules Verne, doing this deep dive, starting at the beginning. And the first two stories were just okay. And then I've run into Master Zacharias. Like I say, it wasn't what I was expecting it to be, but what it was oh, so good. This is an amazing story. This is a great story. This should be right up there with all the best literature. Definitely on the top tail list. The interesting thing about Jules Verne is that Emily has only read Around the World in 80 Days, and she hated it. She thought it was the most boring piece of crap she'd read. So she doesn't really want to read Verne. But I read this one, and it just felt like something that Emily would love. So I told her about it. And it is available through Project Gutenberg. There's a whole collection of Verne's short stories that is in the public domain, and it is in Project Gutenberg, and in an English translation of it. So you can read this for free online or download it off of Project Gutenberg, whatever. But you don't have to pay money just to read this story. You can get it for free. And it's worth paying for. It really is. This is a story that I want in my collection, and I think should be in everybody's literature collection. This should be considered one of the best short stories in the world. I thought it was just amazing. And wait till you get to the description of this one character. Oh, so good. There's illustrations that go with this story. I'm putting that in the artwork for this video. It is so cool. I love it. I love it. Can't keep saying how much I love this story. I can stop saying any more details, though, and tell you, go out and read it. Or have you already read it? What did you think? Leave your comments about Master Zacharias or Jules Verne in the comments on this video. I will read them and I will respond. Let's get into a little discussion of this one. I thought it was amazing. I hope Emily will read it because I really think it's right up her line. And I'm going to keep going with Jules Verne. His next story is a play, The Knights of the Daffodil. And I did get a hold of a copy of this. There's a trade paperback that has a collection of some of his plays. And The Knights of the Daffodil is in it. And that is my next Jules Verne. And I will get to that as soon as I can. I hope you will join me for that and many other Jules Verne to come. Not too long before I get to his first novel, 5 Weeks in a Balloon. So we'll get there. And until then, just come back for stories like this by Verne and other authors, and I'm going to be here doing them.